Amazonian shamanism is very strongly based on activation of DMT in combination with other things and by itself. And of course, DMT is the most common of all hallucinogens in nature. And so then let's think about DMT for a moment. Strongest hallucinogen known to exist, or known by me to exist, and I certainly desire nothing stronger, let me tell you. It only lasts 5 or 10 minutes, and then you are completely restored to the kind of equilibrium that you enjoyed before the experience. In other words, there isn't even an energy lag. You don't come down a notch, you simply return to where you started from. Well, now what does a neuropharmacologist think looking at that? Well, what she thinks is that it's very acceptable to the brain. What happens is this stuff comes across the blood-brain barrier, and immediately enzyme systems in the brain spring into action, fully recognize what this compound is, rush forward, attach themselves to it, snip it to pieces, and turn it into a harmless byproduct, all in about 10 minutes. In other words, DMT, the most powerful hallucinogen there is, behaves in the brain the way a small ice cube behaves in your closed fist. It just disappears after a minute or so. So I'm not comfortable with the idea that we need to design a better psychedelic, or we need to unleash pharmaceutical chemists to produce some kind of super hallucinogen. I'm also very kind of monogamous in my drug tastes. In other words, I'm not comfortable with combining and synergizing things, and a little of this, a little of that, and pretty soon you've had a real evening of it. My approach is to find what works, and then just put the metal to the floor. One more question, this lady.
What do you think about the sorcery techniques in the Carlos Castaneda books as being a way to apprehend psychedelic space, sort of like a model of thinking about this stuff?
So the question is, what about the Carlos Castaneda model for dealing with this? Well, I think, every signal has noise. And the trick is to separate the noise from the signal. The technique I use with Castaneda is the further back you go, the better it gets. And the first book is genius. And I would recommend that to anybody to take seriously. And the 4 enemies of a man of power are the 4 enemies of a man of power. You can bank on it. The recent books, it's turned into something else. It's a saga. The guy has to make a living. We demand too much of our heroes. To have published that one book is, I think, and after that, it's very clear. After that, they said to him, Carlos, you're on to a great thing, but these drugs, my God, can't you just sort of, sidetrack that? And then that happened. And the most recent books, it's just, to my mind, fairly pathetic that we're now 25 years into it. He's still confused. He still can't tell what's up from down. He's still remembering what really and you're just led into this, it's a labyrinth. But the first book was brilliant, definitely. This man.
What, if any, shamanic uses are there for marijuana?
It's funny, nobody ever used to ask this question, and now it keeps coming up. it's very interesting that we spin a yarn, we weave a tale. Our metaphors for cognitive activity are the metaphors of the weaver. And the weaver is the user of hemp, because hemp is the fiber plant of the late Neolithic sites. So I think that probably cannabis has one of the oldest histories of human usage. And the problem is that it has been trivialized by the culture, and should really not be underestimated. I mean, if you smoke cannabis once a week, alone, in darkness, devotedly, it's pretty astonishing, unless you're smoking garbage. The problem with these things is that there are different paybacks at different use frequencies. And the person who's smoking cannabis every 6 hours is not getting the same kind of payback as the person who's smoking it once a month, which isn't to say that the person smoking it every 6 hours is wrong. It's just that it's a different kind of relationship. The way I think all of these things should be taken, ideally, is rarely, because it's as though a charge builds up in the unconscious, and the longer you wait, being reasonable, of course, this is in the Roman Catholic Church, this is called Jansenism. This is the idea that taking Holy Communion is so heavy, you should only do it once or twice in your life. Well, then that's a heresy, and the priests say, no, you should respect the Holy Eucharist, but not that much. So judicious use of psychedelics will give you friendly entry into this hidden dimension, which is, to my mind, the most astonishing thing about being alive, except for being alive. It's as though there were this tremendous footnote on reality, which says, here is the world, here is life, sex, birth, death, fame, fortune, hope, despair, and if you don't think that's enough, there's also the psychedelic experience, which then throws everything into high relief. So claiming this as part of our cultural repertoire is an act of claiming more freedom for ourselves. It is a civil rights issue. It is like ending slavery. It is like the universal right to an education. It is like the obligation to be literate. It is part of the experience and exercise of being truly free and human. And howsoever long we go without claiming this right, then we live in a state of pre-civilization, a state which I'm hopeful in our lifetimes we will see transcended, and we will come in to our birthright, will close the loop of history, will return to Eden, but this time with the information gained as the prodigal wanderer through matter, street smart in the ways of demonic materialism, but yet returned to the family farm in Eden. Yeah. That's it. Hello.